Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today is the day 42 for our PCNSA series. Today we are going to see how can we configure side-to-side VPN between Palo Alto and Fortigate. And also we are going to configure Ikev version 2, phase 1 and phase 2 in both Palo Alto and Fortigate as well. And also we are going to see how can we do a packet capture, and we are going to analyze the captures, what are the phases and what are the messages which basically goes between Palo Alto and Fortigate firewall. And also we are going to see whether the VPN is working or not, to verify what are the ways or how can we test that particularly. So we are going to see all of those things, okay, in this particular video. So I'll recommend you guys to please watch this video till the end, because these kind of scenarios you will be finding in real world scenarios. Okay, so please watch this video till the end, and also I'll request you to please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you never miss any video from me. Thank you so much. So without any further delay, let's get started. So friends, let's configure the side-to-side VPN between Palo Alto and Fortigate, and all other tasks which is related with the configuration, checking, verifying and capturing the logs, all can be done through the lab. So let's go into the lab and let's configure it. Okay, so let's rub this up and let's go to the lab now. So this is the lab. Let me explain you about the lab. Okay, so this would be our site 1. This is the address for the private IP address that is behind Palo Alto firewall, and we are considering this one as a site 1, and this subnet is basically site 2, which is behind the Fortigate firewall, and this is behind the Palo Alto firewall. And this is basically considered to be a internet one, where our ISP clouds will be there. Okay, in real world scenario, one site will be connected to one ISP and another site will connected to another ISP. So I'll just consider this one as a cloud, or basically in the cloud or internet cloud, I can say everything will be connected to each other. We will be able to reach to everyone on the public IP addresses. So same thing you can consider here as well. Now our target would be that we should be reaching from here and going to here, right? So we are going to perform, or this is the task that we are going to perform in this. So this is the private IP address and this is the other private IP address. This is the reachability that we are going to see. So I going to get the GUI of Palo Alto and Fortigate, and let's configure the side-to-side VPN, guys. Okay, so friends, let's configure the Palo Alto firewall first for side-to-side VPN, and I've already configured the interfaces IP address. The only thing is that I have to configure the routes which is pointing towards ISP, and apart from that, we have to configure the side-to-side VPN. So this is our GUI for Palo Alto firewall, as you can see, and I have already configured the interfaces and the zone information already. Okay, now in the network we have to basically go and configure the IKE cryptos. Okay friends, here we are going to create the phase 1 policy. So let's create a phase 1 policy, and we'll just define a name for the net, and here we are going to define the DH, the encryption and the authentication. Like if I want to have multiple authentications policy, like if I want one more, I can define like this, right? So right now it is not needed, and this is the timer that we are having. Okay, and after that let's go to the phase 2 policy as well. Let's define phase 2 policy. So for the net, and ESP we are using. Now if you guys want to know what exactly this ESP and DH group keys and all of this, I've already covered what is all about these things. So AES 128 and this one is 256. I guess we are good. And here we can define the size of the tunnel, like after certain MB of data the rekey will happen, otherwise it depends on the lifetime of it, right? It is mentioned in 1 hour, which is good. So we define the phase 1 policy and phase 2 policy. Phase 1 is for key exchange, phase 2 is for data exchange. Actual, when you're sending actual data, like when you're sending ping, okay, so when you're sending a ping from this machine to this particular machine, so in phase 1 the tunnel gets up, in phase 2 the actual ping traffic will be traveling through the tunnel, right? And then we are going to define the phase 1 policies, like policies we have already defined. Here we are going to define who is our peer. Like basically we have to build a VPN tunnel, so we have to define ourselves and the peer information as well. So let's define that. So it is between site 1 to site 2, basically Ike version 2. My interface will be 1/2 and automatically it pulls out the IP address, and here we have to define the peer IP address. Now we have to find out what is the IP address over here. So for us this is the IP address 200. We are going to assign 200, so like this. So we are planning for this one 200.1.1.10. so we are going to define this peer IP address for our Palo Alto firewall. So let's 200.1.1.10, right? So we are going to define this one. Okay, here we can define the pre-shared key. Now I have already discussed about all of this, when we can use the certificate, when we have to use dynamic FQDN. You can basically look at my old or the previous videos, which I am going to link them in this particular video. You can click on the I button and you can see that. Okay, local identifier and the IP address as well, so which is 100.1.1.10, and the peer IP address as well, 200.1.1.10. okay, now here we are not enabling any passive mode because we want both direction the traffic needs to be initiated. NAT not required over here, and the phase 2 policy which we are going to use at Fortinet, and here fragmentation is not required, and we are good, right? And then we have to define the phase 2, like we have to combine everything into ipsec tunnel, right? So this is also there. Let's define this. So this is site 1 to site 2. Here we are going to create a tunnel interface. The reason being because my traffic will be traveling through this, right? So let's go and define through outside interface. Here we don't need to define the IP address. It takes the outside interface IP address. And the gateway that we have created for IKE gateway, we are going to call it here. Okay. And proxy ID, domain, encryption domain, or interesting traffic, or the traffic which needs to be encrypted basically. So here we are going to define it, which is site 1 to site 2. 192.168.10.0/24, 192.168.20.0/24. okay, so this is what is that we are going to define. So the traffic which is coming here going to here will be encrypted. This is what I said here. And we have to create, or we have to configure a virtual route. Let's go to the static routes, and we are going to configure two routes. One is basically for default route, and one we have to create a route for our tunnel or the tunnel traffic, which is pointing to site 2, right? So we are going to create a default route first. So this is default 0.0.0/0, and the interface would be 1/2, and the IP address will be 100.1.1.1, right? So this is the IP address that we are going to create, and also the site to IP address, which is 192.168.20.0/24, and it has to be going through the tunnel interface, right? And the next hop will be none, because where the tunnel gets end, this will also get ends over there. And also we are going to create a policy, because what kind of traffic that is needed from here to here and here to here, we can basically decide over here. So let's create from site 1 to site 2. So basically I am giving our traffic or the creation of the policy both the sites. So as this is private IP address, so I am going to give a bi-directional access both the sites, because if the traffic is getting initiated from site 2 to site 1 or site 1 to site 2, both ways they will be able to communicate. Okay, so I'm just giving a bi-directional access. We can give in single policy. If we want, we can give in multiple policies as well. So I'm just doing for multiple policies. So I'm going from inside. My IP address would be 10.0/24, and my destination will be outside 192.168.20.0/24, and I'm going to allow everything all okay. And also there will be a bi-directional policy which is coming from site 2 to site 1. Okay, and we are going to create a policy from outside, which is coming 192.168.20.0/24. Destination would be inside 192.168. I guess it is 10.0/24. Action. Okay, so you can see that it is from site 1 to site 2, site 2 to site 1. Okay, you can see that. So 10 to 20, 20 to 10. Okay, now we are done with the configuration at Palo Alto firewall. Now let's go to Fortinet and let's configure the Fortigate firewall here. So let's commit this. So while it is coming, I'll stop the video and I'll start once we get the GUI access of Fortigate firewall. Friends, now we'll go to the Fortigate dashboard, and as we have already configured the interface IP address, as you can see 2 and 3. So 2 is connected to internet and 3 is connected to our internal network. So we have already configured. Let's go and configure the VPN. Now to configure VPN in Fortigate, it's really easy. We have to go to ipsec wizard. In that we have some specific or basically pre-configured templates which is specifically for Fortigate and Cisco. As this is Palo Alto, so we'll go for custom one, and here we just put a name. So I'll just put as Palo Alto, and let's go to next, and we can just put the comment if you want. So site 2 to site 1. Okay, and this is the IP version 4. Remote is static IP address, and we are going to define as 100.1.1.10, and the interface would be to local gateway. We don't need to define any specific gateway for this. and here net traversal is not needed. We are good till here, and after that this is not needed, extra configuration here. And the method is pre-shared key. I'll just put the password here, the password which I have used over there, and this is Ike version 2. So now here you can see the phase 2 proposal. So AES 2126 and SHA 256 is already there, and we are good. We don't need to change anything over here because we are not going to remove anything over here. Whatever it is, we'll just keep it as it is. And the Defi element group 5 is already selected, which is fine for us. And let's configure the phase 2 local IP and remote IP address. So we'll just try to do it. I'm just clicking on it. Just give me a minute. Okay, I guess so. Sorry, I have to configure here, which is 192.168.20.0/24. This will be the local subnet, and 192.168.10.0/24. okay. If I go to advanced, here also we can define the phase 2 proposals, and which we are good at this one. We can have a look on the phase 2, what we have selected for. Let's check. It is basically the DH group is group 2, whether the group 2 is selected or not. It is not, so let's consider this one as group 5. Let's click OK, because group 2 is not selected here. If you see the element group 2 is not selected, group 5 is selected, so we are good till here. Let's OK. So we have already configured the ipsec. And friends, let's create the rules, firewall rules, for allowing the connection from site 1 to site 2. So before do that, let's create an address, because we need to call the addresses, right? So let's create site 1 private range, which is 192.168.10.0/24. okay. And one more, which is for site 2. So this is 192.168.20.0/24, right? Now let's create the policy now. So to create the policy, we'll create new and just put the name as site 1 to site 2. okay. So incoming would be coming from outside interface, which is the Palo Alto, which is basically coming from port 2. okay. So port 2. okay. I guess no, it should be coming from tunnel, right? So the traffic will be coming through tunnel, right? So we'll just select the tunnel interface, our incoming, and outgoing would be port 3, which is nothing but this port, right? And the source would be site 1, and the destination would be site 2, right? And service, I can make it as all, no NAT is required. And here we don't need any inspection as well, so let me just no inspection, we are good. okay. So coming from site 1 to site 2, let's create another one, and let's put this one as site 2, means from local to outside, which is site 1. Now the traffic will be coming from port 3 going to the tunnel. Source would be site 2, and the destination would be site 1, right? And service will be all, and no NAT is required, no inspection, all good. So if I see the sequence, like the traffic which is going from ports 2 3, site 1 to site 2, and this is the opposite one. Yeah, we are good with the security policy now. So let's go and create the routes now. So let's create a route. Now route is basically we'll be giving to this particular subnet, so that from here whenever it goes to this particular subnet, it has to route through which interface. So if it is going to the other subnet, which is 100.1.1.0/24, and the gateway would be 200.1.1.1, I believe, because this interface is configured with that, and it is going via port 2, which is fine for us. Let's click OK, and we have to create another route which will be going through the tunnel, right? So 192.168.10.0/24, which is site 1 private IP address, and we'll just try to put it as through going through the tunnel, which is also fine. So we are done with the static routes as well. Okay. So friends, as we have done the configuration at both the firewalls, which is the Palo Alto and the Fortinet, now we are going to test the communication between Win 1 to Win 2. Let me just put it a little up. I believe the IP address would be 10.5. I guess this one will be 20.5. Let's verify the communication, put the capture, and we'll try to capture the traffic, how the communication is going, how they are going to establish a VPN tunnel in Ikev version 2 between two different vendors. We are going to see that. Okay. So let's verify first what is the IP address of this machine. So to verify, I'll go to cmd IP config, and I can see it is 10.5. I'll go to the second PC, go to the cmd, and I does the same command 20.5. Okay, nice. Now let's go ahead and do a capture here to 1/2, because the VPN establish will happen at this particular interface. So let's see. I am not seeing any capture right now. So let's make it a little larger, and let's initiate the traffic, which is the ping traffic. So 192.168.20.5. Okay, let's do that. Okay. Let's try to ping now. So friends, let's now ping 192.168.20.5-T. So it should go a continuous ping, right? So I'll just try to initiate the traffic. Oh, I have to capture as well. Okay. Friends, now let's do a ping. So ping 192.168.20.5. Let's do a continuous ping. Okay. I forgot I have to do a capture as well. So do a capture on 1/2 as well. So let's do that. Let's do this way. Let's pop this out to a capture. We just wanted to do so this, see the captures, and I can see that there is no capture that is happening. Okay, I can see that So we are sending the broadcast, but we are not getting any response. So I guess this is turn off. I guess I need to turn this on. Okay, it was turned off. We'll just wait for some time while there is a router here. So the router boots up over here, and we'll see some kind of traffic over here. So we are going to minimize this, and again we need that. So let's see. And once this comes up, okay, I can see now some traffic which is for Ikev2. Okay, so let's do analysis of that. You can see that. Let's stop this for a while, and you can see initiator and the responder, and then initiator, then initiator, responder, and then see, first initiated, then authenticated, and after that the informational, and we are getting the ESP traffic. So if you follow along this one, so let's check the UDP stream. Let's close this. You can see that we have the initial one, okay, and then we have got the response, and after that actually the informational got started. Now if you see here, after that we have got we have got started getting ESP traffic. Okay, now if I want to analyze the first traffic, it is this is where you are going to send all those what do you call that, algorithms which I was discussing with you guys. So in the payload proposals, you will be seeing the transformation, the algorithms that it basically configures over here, and what gets exchanged with the other device. Now we are going to see whether the ping is happening or not. So I can see that the ping is working fine here. Okay, and how can we verify whether our tunnel is up or not? So I'll go here and I'll check. Okay, the phase 1 is up for Ikev2, and our phase 2 is also up. In caps, decaps, you can see in caps, decaps verifies that the traffic is going to the destination, and destination is also responding to you back, right? And also in Fortigate, we'll go to a dashboard, go to status. You can add a widget for VPN, like you can just search for VPN, and you can search for ipsec. I've already added it. So you will see the ipsec, click here, and you can see that incoming data, outgoing data, and it is up. Okay, so this is how exactly that we need to configure between Palo Alto to Fortigate, the site-to-site VPN. And if you guys want, you can comment down below if you want to see any other site-to-site VPN with any other vendor like Checkpoint or any other Cisco, Firepower or something like that. You can comment down below so that I can cover it. So this is what I wanted to cover in this video. If you are facing any specific issues site-to-site VPN, you can comment down below. If you have suggestions for my videos, you can reach out to my emails, or you can comment down, or you can message on Instagram. My social networking handles are already there in about section. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you in the next. Thank you guys.